You know, the One Kid it's probably like, as far as directions go, I mean, it's the perfect first song for the record because it totally spells out what we intend to do. And so, you know, and it's as schizophrenic a song as, you know, you're going to come across from us. You know, even more schizophrenic than Chicago Fanfare. We'd start there with the divvying up of the record collection, you know, and that was, you know, one of we just wanted to hit all the points that happen in a breakup and what goes on, and that's one of them, you know. That's Where's My Records, you know. We also, you get the collection together and then you both have the same record, and then somebody loses that record, and then when the breakup happens, your record's gone. It's like, hey, I didn't lose my record, you know, where's my record? And so that totally happens. Michelle was just, I wanted to do, you know, that's the thing where everybody has their own story. They think they know what happened in the breakup, and so everyone has their own take on it. And we wanted to address that. And also it was kind of like the sort of like the part 3 of the trilogy of girl songs, starting with Lovey Dovey, we're talking about Heather, and Hey Rita, talking about Rita. So I wanted to reference that, and then also wanted to, you know, it's just sort of, you know, by using Michelle, it's been, you know, there's a Guns N' Roses song, and of course there's the Beatles song, and so I wanted to use, you know, a name that had been used and was like a classic, because sort of get across that thing that, you know, like, it's the same fucking girl over and over, you know. And that's why, you know, there's the little jet reference in the middle. So it's very Paul McCartney. But, you know, you want to address the whole thing about, you know, why are you with this person? You know, because I'm nothing like this person. You know, and it just kind of makes you wonder, like, why were we together? You know, it's like, how could you go to somebody like this after me? You know, and yeah, that song really came out good. I really, really like that song, and it had been kicking around for a while, and so we just changed the lyrics, and it fit perfectly with the record. The main influence of that song was Naughty Girl by Beyonce. So, I mean, some kind of song like that, and also like Bootylicious. You know, there's a lot of like, I was hearing a lot of like pop, R&B type of stuff that would just have one riff, and you didn't have a bass, so that was very like Prince and When Doves Cry. So there's no bass on that song at all. So that was something else I wanted to do, and I just wanted to sort of like this random kick, and so it was us trying to be Destiny's Child, basically. And then I went in to do that chop part, and you know, I was thinking like The Police or something like that, and he heard that and he was like, what are you doing? This is terrible. So there was Police in there, but I mean, people don't really pick up on the Police thing. They think it's more like Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. But so there was some of that in there, and Prince, some Fleetwood Mac, and a little bit of Queen's We Will Rock You. So that's what you get, all that. That's the first song I've ever done in 3/4. So, and that was really tough. And that was just one of those songs that was like, started out like on, you know, playing it on the edge of the bed, you know, and I didn't even know if it would ever be right as a local age song, you know, and it came out well. It sounds really good, and it's, the horrifying thing about it is it's almost a power ballad. So So one of the things that you want to do when you get to something like that is you don't want to be schmaltzy. You want it to be real, and so you try to get these details right. And that song is really honest and true, and all those details in there are for real. So you want to sort of go to what power ballads are supposed to be about, and they're supposed to be about like real emotion, and so I guess that was us trying to rescue the power ballad from. I mean, I think there are a lot of people doing it, but they're fuckers like that American Idol guy or the Nickelback type of things. And I think those guys are taking their cue from stuff like Wanted Dead or Alive, all that I'm a cowboy type of bullshit. I know what a really good power ballad is. To me, a really good power ballad is Keep on Loving You by REO Speedwagon, or Open Arms. This is the stuff that I don't want to hear about somebody who thinks they're a fucking cowboy. The whole idea of Taxi Cabs was trying to do something like Can't Get You Out of My Head, the Kylie Minogue song. So I was trying to do something as close to that. And that's why, we had Simi come in and play the strings. I was just trying to do something like sort of circular and dreamy. And so, I don't know if that translates. I think it ends up sounding more like Interpol so that's fine, because there's an Interpol reference in the first song. And so that, I think if it does sound like that, it's cool because it fits thematically. Just wanted to, I had that line about taxi cabs being sharks of streets, and just wanted to go on with that and sort of get into this whole idea of, sort of like, not really dating, but just the whole hookup scene, and like going to bars and hanging out at bars that you really don't like, and hanging out with girls that you're not really into, and then you get away from it and you go back to your own scene, and you end up doing drugs in the morning, and so put in again, there's a lot of musical references on the record, and that one references Nilsson, Harry Nilsson, and who gets referenced a couple of songs later as well. So yeah, I really like that song, and that song is one of, as far as the new songs go, that's one of the best ones. It gets the biggest reaction live. Like it was closing time at the Continental in Chicago, and so I just brought my computer in there and just, 4 a.m. closing time, and having that slow fade in from 24-hour was sort of like trying to do something like I Want to Be Adored, the Stone Roses. But I've always wanted to do a song that was sort of a Don't Fear the Reaper type of thing, and I've tried many, many times before, and always have riffs with a pedal tone, and this was finally came together in this one, That one is probably, I think, the most vicious song on the record, and basically calling the girl a groupie, but then you don't want these things to be misogynistic, and so you take some of the blame, and and that's why you have the line, only a groupie would ever want to love me. So you can, the point is to be just as hard on yourself as you're going to be, to give as good as you get, that kind of thing. That song had so many titles, and we were just trying to come up with titles, and we called it something different almost every night that we would play it on tour. So that was the title that I think we thought was the funniest. That was a song that, right up until the end, I wasn't sure was going to work. And that was one of the songs I was like, this might not make it, you know. And then when it came out, and you know, all the background vocals were on it and everything, I was just, you know, it was great. I love it, and it sounds really cool. I mean, we're trying to do this sort of like Faces thing with the beginning, and it's really loose type of, you know, like 70s country vibe, but you know, like played by a British rock band. And then it sort of opens up into this other thing, and then the end is like another like sort of Prince thing where it's just trying to do something like, you know, the end of The Beautiful Ones, where it just, he goes off, and that was really difficult to nail for me in the studio, because I knew what I wanted, but I'm not fucking Prince, so that was just really hard to get anywhere close to that, and that we did a lot of takes, and I was pretty fucking beat after it. A few years ago, I really started to get into, like, you know, dance music and stuff, and things like Daft Punk and Evil Nine and things like that, you know, Lauder Boys. And so I was really trying to come up with something that was just really dark and more about the groove than the music. And yeah, that song was really hard, and there's a lot of work that went into that, and tried to keep it really minimal, but I think there was more work production-wise that went into it than any of the other songs that don't sound minimal, because it's so not minimal. So I really like that song, but I still don't know how to play it live. There's just too much shit going on. That's one that, like, you know, For the Band isn't breaking any stylistic ground, but I mean, I really love the structure of the song. It constantly keeps moving, and one of the reasons it's called Blur is because, you know, I love Song 2 by Blur. I mean, I love Blur, but Song 2 is like one of my favorite rock songs of all the time, because it's just so short and it's fast and it's great. So so when the song kicks in with that sort of Chrissie Hynde, you know, it's also kind of a, you know, when Song 2 kicks in, you know. So you know, I knew it was just a basic rock song, but you know, it just, I wanted it to just keep going, and it does keep going. It doesn't really repeat itself too much. Something different is always happening, and it may not seem like it, but it is. So that song turned out great, and you know, it just goes with our tradition of like having the rocker song be the second to last song. And you also kind of want to sum up it, you know, the year, and sort of get into that thing of, you know, like, it's ending, you know, and it helps bring the record to a close. You know, again, that's a tough one for just me and Brian to pull off live, because there's a lot of stuff going on that. And yeah, I mean, I really like it, and just, you know, something like Echo and the Bunnymen was like a big influence on that. But somebody also pointed out to me that it kind of sounds like The Church. So something, you know, that sort of ethereal type of mid-'80s type of vibe was appropriate for the song. And I like it, you know, it's a perfect way to end the record. And it just, a lot of work went into it, and yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know.